Hello again, this is Elio and Linda from Westwood.org, and we are going to discuss some little mysteries, things that some people may not quite get from the first reading.
A lot of people have certainly said, oh, I missed that, and
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So, first one, the Three-Eyed Crow. This is like, for us, this was like...
Oh, it was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
We were reading over each other. I was reading over Elio's shoulder, and then we come to this line where it's a pale lord in ebon finery, and we
freaked a little bit.
We freaked a little bit.
This is, for a lot of people, they just think he's some guy named Brenton, and they don't understand who he is. Yeah. This is because this is a character which George has spoken about at conventions, in correspondence, and which he has described in The Sworn Sword, and
shown in the Mystery
Night.
The Duncan Egg novellas.
Duncan Egg novellas. The first four, which will eventually be collected, I think, in 2013 or so, but it's a bit of a wait. This is Bloodraven.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it's like, oh my god, moment, for who've read it, who know about him.
And he is the son of Aegon IV, Aegon the Unworthy, who had a bunch of bastards. He's the originator of the Blackfires, who caused so much trouble for the Targaryens by he legitimized all his bastards, among them Daemon Blackfire.
Yeah.
But Brynden Rivers was his bastard by a Blackwood woman, Missella.
Which we hear about in Jaime's chapter.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Teats, exactly. She got Barbas because she didn't have any. Brynden Rivers was a albino, or he is, red-eyed with a wine-stained birthmark on his cheek, and a famous archer, and he had a rivalry with his half-brother, another of the great bastards, Bittersteel, who went on to found the Golden Company, which of course we also hear about and see in the Dance with Dragons.
And he rose to, he helped put an end to Blackfire at the Battle of the Redgrass Field. He killed
with his archery,
and his archers, the Raven's Teeth, and then he rose to become the hand to King Aerys, who was a mad, bookish king, and he was reputed as a sorcerer. Yep. He was a spy master, and that's the line.
And
1,000 eyes.
His half-sister, Shira Seastar, that he quarrelled with Bittersteel over, she was also something of a sorceress.
Allegedly.
But
in any case, 1,000 eyes in one. This is a common statement in time of Dunk, where people said, but that's,
how many eyes does Lord Bloodraven have?
1,000 eyes in one, because all his spies.
Yeah.
Now it has another meaning here.
Yeah.
We know that he was in a dungeon when Aegon V, became king, but he was released and sent to the Night's Watch. And he eventually rose to the rank of Lord Commander. And then we don't know what became of him. Well, now we do.
Yes, and I certainly have my suspicions that he engineered this.
Yeah.
Because he may have had his own prophetic abilities already, and I don't think he was in that dungeon by chance.
No. So, we're talking these events, 190, 210, 220, so he's lived many years. He was born somewhere around 170 something, I'm thinking. Yeah. So he is over 130 years old, I'd say, something about that range. He's lived long beyond his lifespan for this purpose, to save the realms of men, to watch over and wait for Bran to replace him, I guess. Amazing moment, and I really recommend the Duncan Egg stories.
Absolutely.
It adds so much.
It's certainly the way the character is introduced, and in The Sworn Sword, and then when you actually see him in the Mystery Night, it's quite fascinating. It's one of those reveals of George of character that was very interesting to watch.
Next, we have the question of
what happened to the missing Freys?
These three Freys who came to Balver Lord Manderley to see his, to have his son returned and so on. Rhaegar, Jared, and Simon. They disappear.
Yes.
Now, there's a conversation where we learn from Manderley, but he is in fact a staunch Stark loyalist, I should say. I love that moment. I've been waiting for many years for that one.
Yeah.
This is another chapter we actually read a little earlier than everyone else.
And we had our suspicions all along that he wasn't going to kill Davos.
Yeah.
He was in fact still a supporter.
Part of the conversation is that, his guests were leaving. He was going to give them a guest gift. This is a sign.
It's the end of his obligation as a host.
Exactly, because he believes very strongly in the traditions of the North. The guest right.
Even if the Freys have broken guest right against the Starks and against the North, he's not going to make the same mistake.
So the speculation of the Boltons and the other Freys that he had something to do with their death, well, that's spot on. What they didn't realize is that they got to meet their kinsmen again and got to eat them.
Yep. They were in the pies.
The three great size of wheels.
We missed this.
We missed this, I
yes.
think. It's Anne Grohl who mentioned to...
She posted a poll, I think.
Patrick did.
Patrick posted a poll, right? How did my character, the one that he was named for him, Sir Patrick, how does he die?
And one was baked in a pie.
And all the options given were actual deaths in A Dance with Dragons and then baked into a pie. We saw, who got baked into a pie? And of course we had to go looking, and then Elio's jaw dropped down to the floor, pretty much. And
it wasn't, you know what I've said recently, it's not because of the fact that Lord Manderley did this, and fed them to the Freys and Boltons. It's not even that
so Grecian.
It's so Grecian, yes. Medea, and also Titus Andronicus has the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not because of that, and it's not because he ate a portion of each to prove that they weren't poison.
But he ate portions of each.
He went back for seconds. That is and he was gleeful, he was happy.
Yes, it was the best pie he'd ever had.
Amazing moment.
As somebody said when this was being discussed on a live journal thread, would you like Freys with that? Basically.
The North remembers.
The North remembers. One of those awesome phrases.
Here's a little mystery a lot of people have. The ugly little girl. How does she assassinate her target?
Yes, I had to be clued into that one.
Yeah. The guy takes very good care. He's got guards. He waits for his food to cool, and it has been tasted, so he makes sure it's not poison. She doesn't know what to do. But he bites each and every coin to make sure they're true. And so, when one of the guys comes to pay him his sort of insurance deposit, she sets his purse, but on purpose fails.
Yep, and then slips in poison coin, so that when he scoops them up, he gets the poison coin as well.
And obviously, it must be something that's ingestion only, but when he bites it, it'll make sure that he'll die. Interestingly...
Yes, we have a repeat of that, or it's already happened
once
in A Feast for Crows, when Pate is killed by the alchemists. He also dies by biting a poison coin.
Exactly. So that was very clever, and it's interesting how subtle it is for a lot of people that didn't quite get it. Here's another minor one. Raella's infatuation, a knight, but we're told by Varys, but she had an infatuation with him.
Yes, when he discusses whether Dany's parents really loved each other.
Yeah. And Rhaegar and Elia as well.
Yeah.
This was a tourney knight who served Lord Merryweather. This was the person who would become Hand of a King after Tywin. And he was a skilled tourney knight. He loved her, and when she was to get married, he put away his lands as sort of a vanity, and nothing could compare to her.
Which matches a certain Bonifer Hasty, Bonifer the Good, that Jaime comments on, I believe, how he used to be a very good tourney knight, and then gave it all up and became very pious.
Yes, he doesn't know why. Something happened. He doesn't know what led him to do that. Well, now we know. No. He put it aside for Rhaella, or Veloster. Only the maiden could compare to her, and everything was vanity. It was a nice little touch. I mean, that George sort of remembers. It's interesting to think whether that particular chapter was something that was one that had been written when A Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons were one book. So they would comment on one another. It's interesting to think that there's probably a lot of little comments back and forth
that's true.
Follow from that.
That will probably line up. And
our final little mystery that we'll be discussing
is from the same section, where Barristan is talking about the follies of love and the problems that they have cost the kingdom.
Yeah.
The Duncan the Small, who apparently married Jenny of Oldstones for love.
Yeah.
And Jenny came to court with a woods witch who told, I guess, King Jaehaerys.
Possibly when he wasn't king yet.
Possibly, but that the prince who was promised was going to come from the line of Aerys and Rhaella, and that's why they ended up being married.
Really interesting. She must have been quite convincing, but she's described as a dwarfish, grotesque, kind of twisted creature.
Isn't she an albino?
She's also an albino. With red eyes, so she has a weird thing.
I'm sort of vaguely wondering if she could be a half offspring of Brynden Rivers and one of the children.
It's an interesting one. I mean, certainly Jenny always claimed she was one of the children of the Forest. I would see that the children are quite alien.
Yes, she's clearly more human than they are, but she was very long-lived, it seems.
So this is, the Ghost of High Heart, where we saw in the Storm of Swords, you told Arya, I've
gorged on grief at Summerhall, and talks about my Jenny.
My Jenny, so that solves that little mystery. It's very interesting, and I think probably one day
there's a lot of prophecies and such converging and starting to come true. And
all right, thank you.